Hello, I just want to give you a quick update on some new work that I'm preparing for the channel. I'm going back to my roots and doing some work on Celtic belief in fairies. And I'm not talking about kind of going back thousands of years to say some of the origin myths within the Irish myth cycles, but really looking at kind of the peasant folk belief in fairies and what they represented, the taboos associated with them, the fears associated with them. And the reason for that is there's huge similarities with the Jinn. It's always struck me when I was reading through the Jinn material how close it was in practice and an understanding to the myths and taboos surrounding the fairy world. So I have an awful lot of source material that I'm working my way through, and I hope to have a couple of more rounded and developed lectures and commentaries in the coming weeks, well, months actually. Let's be honest, I'm a lot slower doing these videos, but there's a little story that I'd like to share with you now, which is something of interest to me because basically talks about the fairies traveling in wind, and this of course is a very famous Jinn motif. And in the series that I'm proposing, I'll be looking at where we have real synergies between taboos and beliefs around Jinn and the similar circumstances around the fairies. But the wind story was totally surprised me because I'd never heard of that before, and it's so specifically associated with the Jinn, with the desert wind, the hot desert wind that they were deemed to be created from. The fairies have kind of a different origin myth, in that they were supposed to be the remnants of people that predated the current inhabitants of Ireland that could have stepped away or faded away. Now, I suppose I should also say that my pronunciations of Irish words are no better than my pronunciations of Hindi or Arabic words, so my apologies to any Gaelgories out there who are going to hear me murder some Irish words. And this is a little bit of folklore from customs, superstitions and strange beliefs. And this is a small booklet that was published by Ballina Printing from County Mayo, which is obviously a very small press. But this book I bought in the Irish Museum of Country Living must be close to 10 years ago. Fairy wind, the Sí Gaoithe. Sí Gaoithe, or fairy wind, was a powerful whirlwind that sprang up suddenly on a fine calm day. It was a common belief among the people that it was caused by the fairies moving from one place to another, very similar to the Jinn. Anyone caught or knocked down by it was believed to be spirited away by the fairies and would die soon after. An aged lady recalled for me the day in her extreme youth when, in the company of her mother, she was drawing water from the local well, and a frail old neighbour came along in obvious distress. She addressed her mother in Irish, which was then the language of the day, saying, "A Siobhan Lagon Sí Gaoithe inne me, tá mé scúbad sa deireadh." And that translates as, "Oh Siobhan, the fairy wind knocked me today. I'm swept away at last." Although she was old and very frail, her neighbours were convinced she had been swept away by the fairies when she died a short while later. Now, the ending of that story was with somebody dying. And this tends to happen almost certainly. The fairies tend to be a harbinger of incoming doom, of some kind of death in families, or tragedy is going to befall somebody. Getting on the wrong side of the fairies will certainly bring about bad luck, rather, that will result in someone's untimely demise or the demise of someone they love. So the fairies are not little kind, beautiful Tinkerbell things that float around your garden, being charming and pretty and with trails of glitter flying behind them. They are tremendously beautiful, funny, interesting, vengeful, dangerous, not to be trifled with characters. There's an element of trickster gods that have become kind of diminished through the development of Christian faith taking grip on the country. So that's a little intro, a little taster of what's to come. There's a huge wealth of material out there, and I've got an awful lot of research to do, but keep an eye out for new content coming soon. That's it for me for now. Talk soon.